Election night is just around the corner. Coming up on News 24, we examine state and local election topics.
And we also take a deeper look at the Winona School District's referendum levy.
Hello and welcome. I'm Olga Lizhapakova.
And I'm Peter Schuneman. Winona Public Works referendum that was passed 5 years ago is back in headlines for the community. News 24's Jordan Freisel is here in the studio with us with more. Jordan?
Thanks, Peter. The referendum may be back in the spotlight, but this is only the first step in the process. Winona Public School officials still have to await the response from the voters.
These days, money can be hard to come by, and Winona Public School District officials are hoping an extension to the 2005 referendum will pass. If passed, the levy will give the district $6 million over the course of 6 years.
It's just an extension of one we already have, and this will not raise anybody's taxes. They're already paying that tax, so all we want to do is extend it another 6 years.
Some schools around the state are able to operate without operating levies, but for the Winona Public Schools, it might act as a support beam. Superintendent Scott Hannon says if the levy fails, they will have to make budget cuts somewhere.
It's a huge amount of money, and it's a huge portion of our budget. So if this were to fail and we were to fail next year, there'd be some devastating consequences on the Winona area public schools.
The operating levy right now supports salaries, supplies, benefits, programs, and various other things. Although this referendum may seem necessary for the public schools, some Winona residents feel there may be another option besides the referendum.
I think that we need some school closings. I think we need some boundary redesigns, some look at curriculum, consolidation.
Tanya Schmidt, mother of two, says she isn't against the extension of the referendum, but she doesn't think the district needs all of the $6 million.
I'm voting no, not because I don't think they need some money, but because I don't think they need all the money. I like reform as well, and I think a lot of people say, well, if Winonans don't vote for the levy, then they're anti-education. And that is, couldn't be further from the truth.
It will be interesting to see what changes the school districts will have to make for the students if the budget doesn't pass.
Thank you, Jordan. There are 6 candidates running for 3 school board seats. For the seat at large, Stacy Mounts Arnold is running for a second term. She owns her own business in Winona. She is being challenged by Fred Peterson, who is a former school board member. Jay Koner is self-employed, Ben Barato, a retired teacher, and candidates for District 1 include the incumbent, Ted Hazelton, who is being challenged by Steve Schild, who is an associate professor at WSU. The only candidate running for District 2 is Mohammed El-Hindi, who is a 20-year resident of Winona and teaches for Southeast Technical College.
Current Winona County Sheriff David Brandt and Deputy Ron Hansen are running against each other for the position of the Winona County Sheriff.
David Brandt has been in the office for past 12 years and is running for his 4th term in 2010 election. Brandt says his mission hasn't changed.
My overall mission as the Sheriff of Winona County and has been is the public safety of the Winona County residents here in Winona County.
Brandt also says his policy on keeping Winona County inmates behind bars in Winona versus sending them to another county jail has saved the city a lot of money.
20 inmates, we save us probably around $40,000 a year just keeping the inmates here. And since 2005, we've saved over $2 million by not having to send these inmates out.
Deputy Hansen has been with the Sheriff's Department for 11 years. His main priorities, if elected, include making the Sheriff's Office more of an open-door policy, as well as maintaining the budget in this tough economy.
One of the top priorities is, again, the budget, making sure that, that we stay within budget or even below it, and work with the county on maintaining it.
Hansen says collaboration with other agencies will also be a priority if elected.
My overall mission is to make sure that the Sheriff's Department does a good job with enforcing all the laws in the county, and that we work closely with the other departments and together try and make Winona County and the city of Winona a better place for citizens to live.
Hansen ran against Brandt in 2006 election, but didn't make the primary that year. Hansen says he has a better shot at the position this time around.
It's one of these things where it's time for a change, and I know a lot of incumbents are are struggling to get reelected, I think this is a time that I might have a chance this time, yes.
Whether the citizens of Winona are ready for a change or not, the election results will show.
Both candidates say budget cuts are another important issue that will need to be solved by the Sheriff's Department.
Running for District 31A State Senate this year is Jeremy Miller and Sharon Erickson Ropes. The three issues at large seem to be the budget, job growth, and government spending. Erickson Ropes is up for re-election, and this is her second term, while Jeremy Miller is a full-time employee at his family's business in Winona. Both Winona natives are ready for the November elections.
My approach would be the same thing as the Senate's been doing the last number of years. Take a balanced approach where we're going to be needing to streamline government, reform the way we do things. People are going to have to do more with less money. We're going to cut spending, and we're going to have to look at some additional revenue.
Spending is projected to increase by over 20%. While revenues are projected to increase by about 8%. So the state of Minnesota doesn't have a revenue problem, we have a serious spending problem.
The number one topic of this year's election is the budget. However, unemployment is also a main concern.
What we need to do is, again, we need to create an economic environment that promotes job growth and private sector development. This is best accomplished by lowering tax rates, reducing unnecessary regulations, streamlining the permitting process, all of which will help Minnesota businesses become more competitive.
We have to make sure that we're giving businesses the tax credits and incentives they need to spur growth, and we need to make sure that we're keeping college affordable for families and kids going to school right now. I sit on the Higher Education Committee, and I'm very alarmed.
There are three top candidates for the Minnesota governor's race. This year, race for the governor remains a close one, with the newly released polls showing Representative Mark Dayton and Tom Emmer being nearly tied. Former U.S. Senator Dayton's plan for the governor, if elected, included making sure the wealthiest Minnesotans pay their fair share and then invest that money in our schools. Republican candidate Tom Emmer disagrees with that belief. The belief that Minnesotans need to tax the upper class, but instead need to completely reform the culture of the Minnesota government. Tom Horner is representing the Independent Party. He agrees with the needed tax reform and says the system is not working for today's Minnesotans.
And there are four candidates vying for the first U.S. Representative District seat. Democrat and incumbent Tim Walz is being challenged by Republican Randy Demmer and Independent Stephen Wilson and Party-Free Lars Johnson. Current U.S. Representative Tim Walz is in his second term. Republican Randy Demmer is in his fourth term as state representative for District 29A. Wilson is from Rochester and was an endorsed Republican candidate for the Minnesota Senate in 2006. Johnson is an independent businessman from Austin and a member of several national and state healthcare association. Job growth, budget, and healthcare are priorities, for all four candidates. Longtime state representative for District 31A, Gene Pulowski, is also being challenged. Rhett Zenke is the Republican candidate for the district. Zenke was raised in Nodine, Minnesota, and now lives in Winona. He is an auto mechanic at Zenke Auto and also spent time with the Minnesota Air National Guard as an aircraft mechanic. Pulowski has been the district's state representative for 12 terms. He is a lifelong resident of Winona. Pulowski sits on several state committees and also chairs the State and Local Government Operations Reform, Technology, and Elections Committee.
The fight for the county commissioner is heating up. Marcia Ward, the incumbent, she has served as a county commissioner's board member for the past 2 terms. Ward's main concern is the looming budget crisis that she says cannot be ignored. Both candidates have been vocal about the proposed Winona County zoning ordinance. Alan Nagel is from rural Winona. He owns a Savage Yard and he is concerned the new zoning ordinance will shut down his business. Nagel says this is one of the reasons he decided to run. There are 2 candidates running for the council member at large for the city of Winona, and 2 candidates as well running for the council member Ward 2. Running for council member at large is Bruce Reed, a local business owner and an active military veteran who will face Michelle Alexander, a local realtor who is running for the office for the first time. Councilman Gary Craig will be challenged by Pete Logan in the council member Ward 2 election. Craig has served on the council since 1985 and it's his first time running for the public office for Logan. Coming up next, Daryl Downs joins us from the Political Science Department to talk about the upcoming election.
Plus, find out what is on stands for the Winonan this week. All this and more right after the break.